let me give you something positive about the 49ers. How they've improved this offseason. Well, they've improved at quarterback because just switching from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance is going to be a big deal for this team. It's going to have wide-ranging effects. I know you're saying, how can you say that? Trey Lance hasn't played in 2 years. 2 years. Trey Lance is essentially a rookie. I said this last year. I'm not saying Trey Lance is going to be great. He could struggle early on, but there's no way he could be worse than Jimmy Garoppolo. I really believe that. I don't care what kind of a leader, how likable Jimmy Garoppolo is. Jimmy Garoppolo is a liability. Last year in 18 games, including the playoffs, he committed 18 turnovers. He does it every game. And there's a lot of times where he fumbles and the Niners get the ball back. He's an accident waiting to happen. But he offsets that with a lot of big plays, right? No. Doesn't run, doesn't throw down the field. Oh, he scores a lot of touchdowns, right? No. 25 touchdowns, 18 turnovers last year. There's no way Lance could be worse than that. So even though I've only seen 2.5 quarters of Lance in the NFL, I have 6 ways that he's going to improve the offense that I'm confident about right now without seeing more. I'm going to list them. 1, he's going to expand the field. We can agree on that. Jimmy Garoppolo plays football on a tennis court. He doesn't throw outside the hashes hardly ever. He doesn't throw 20 yards down the field hardly ever. So DBs know they can sit on in-breaking routes. They don't really have to honor the deep ones. Remember in the wild card round, everyone said Brandon Ayuk cooked Trevon Diggs. Well, maybe Trevon Diggs just knew he didn't have to cover out-breaking routes and deep routes. What happens is these DBs sit on certain routes. So all of a sudden he'll expand the field. They'll go from playing on a tennis court to a football field. That'll help everyone. I mean, he'll make the offense less predictable because there's no book on Trey Lance. Kyle Shanahan doesn't even know how he wants to use him. Everyone knew how the Niners were going to use Jimmy Garoppolo at the end. There's like 3 things he could do. So that's 2 ways the offense is going to improve with Trey Lance. 3, he's going to improve the run game just from the mere threat of him running the ball. We've seen this countless times. The Niners had a good running game with Alex Smith. Colin Kaepernick replaced him. It's a great running game. The yards per attempt goes up by half a yard. Just the mere threat of Trey Lance keeping the ball and running it himself is going to make every running back more effective. Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon, JaMychal Hasty, all of them. Jeff Wilson Jr. So the run game should improve even though it's taken some hits. They lost Raheem Mostert, Laken Tomlinson, Tom Compton. Should improve just by the mere threat and presence of Trey Lance. Then there's the fact that Trey Lance actually creates explosive plays, not just with his legs, but with his arm. I mean, in 2 different ways. He can scramble for long gains. He can throw for long gains. This is something the Niners didn't have with Jimmy because Jimmy doesn't run and Jimmy doesn't throw down the field. So all the Niners' explosive plays have to come from the run game or screens or slants. And it's hard. I mean, there's really one guy on this team who could provide explosiveness given Jimmy's limitations. Deebo Samuel. All of a sudden, Kittle wasn't explosive. Ayuk wasn't explosive. Mitchell wasn't explosive. Lance is explosive. Lance's legs are explosive. His arm is explosive. He should be able to he gives the Niners a second explosive player on offense. Him and Deebo. That's a big deal. Because if you don't have explosiveness on offense, as soon as the Niners lost Raheem Mostert, all of a sudden they had to everything was a 15, 20 play drive. Unless Deebo Samuel could take a screen in the distance. It's hard. This team is really mistake prone on offense. A lot of turnovers, a lot of sacks. So a second explosive element on offense is great. Also, he's going to reduce the sacks and turnovers. He'll be more explosive than Jimmy and commit less mistakes. And just start with the sacks. I feel confident in saying that even though Trey Lance holds the ball longer than Jimmy, he's going to get sacked less. 1, because he can actually move. He's quick, strong, fast, and he'll throw the ball away. Oh, yes. Jimmy acted like he didn't know you could do that. You talk to him about that, he'd be like, hold on, you're telling me? He didn't actually say this, but he acted like he'd be like, you're telling me if I get outside the tackle box and throw it past the line of scrimmage, out of bounds, that's not against the rules? Like, he acted like he didn't know. Trey Lance will throw the ball away 2 times as much as Jimmy Garoppolo ever did. He can avoid sacks. And he's not going to throw the interception to the linebacker over and over and over and over again. So fewer mistakes, more big plays. And then finally, Kyle Shanahan can really can prop up Jimmy Garoppolo because a lot of times Kyle Shanahan has a really good script. Do this, he'll be open, he'll be open, he'll be open. And the looks are great, and Jimmy Garoppolo can just sort of deliver. Well, we've also seen that Kyle Shanahan has his issues too. End of games, end of season. Kyle can kind of go haywire, and all of a sudden the script isn't so great. All of a sudden he forgets to get the ball to Deebo Samuel. You know what Trey Lance can do? Improvise. He can go off script, which is really what Kyle Shanahan needs, because Kyle Shanahan is good most of the time, but no one's perfect all the time. He needs someone who can overcome his mistakes in critical moments. Lance can do that. He can go off script and improvise. You need that unless your quarterback is Tom Brady or Peyton Manning in their prime. Tom Brady now. Jimmy Garoppolo and not being able to improvise, deal breaker. That's all the ways the Niners have improved at quarterback, which is the most important position. And I haven't even talked about Trey Lance's accuracy, which is a question, right? I don't care. Those 6 ways the Niners have improved just by getting rid of Jimmy the Arsonist and moving on to Trey Lance. I know Trey Lance is basically a rookie. So is Jimmy. The Niners are choosing between 2 essentially rookies. I'll take the one with all the good stuff I just listed.